Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Get in the Herd, the award-winning podcast brought to you by the McShin Foundation. I'm in a goofy mood today, so welcome to Tuesday and welcome to Get in the Herd. Today we have two very special guests here with us. We have Chelsea.
Hello.
And hey, Chelsea. Chelsea, congratulations. Yesterday you were Miracle Monday.
Yes, I was.
I feel like that should just last for like a week. Or maybe a month.
In my mind, it does because I definitely shared it on my Facebook and I'm still getting posts about it. So,
woohoo! All right. Well, we'll get back to that. And over here to my right, I've got Matt. Matt, welcome to the show. I understand you were a little nervous about coming to the show. Do you want to talk about that and why your anxiety was filling you up?
Not really.
Nothing like diving right in, right?
That's right.
That's right. Well, so these two fine folk here are our Americorp representatives working here, but these are also people in recovery. So I brought them here. I brought you both here today to discuss Americorp recovery and really just anything else that's going on with you today. Welcome to the show again, Chelsea. What is your full name and what do you do? And tell us about what's going on with you.
So I'm Chelsea Rushbrook. I have been at the McShin Foundation since July 11th of last year. I've been in recovery since November 17th, 2019. So I'm coming up on 18 months next month.
Woo-hoo!
Pretty excited. And I just started with Americorp here at the McShin Foundation, basically helping people coming into the foundation, getting their Medicaid, their food stamps, any other services that they may need.
So you're basically, I think we could also call that like a peer navigator.
Yes.
Navigating all the different services. It's not just those services you do too, but it's like making sure that the services that we offer here as part of the packages, with McShin are all taken care of as well. So, Matt, what am I missing here? Who are you, by the way, and what brings you here today?
My name is Matt Grant. I came through the McShin Foundation in their intensive program in 2019.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I didn't stay per se for very long. And I wound up going back to jail for a little bit. And then I got out on January 31st of 2020. And I've been here since, I've been clean since I went to jail. I got to take the Cprs class and I wanted to volunteer up here to get my hours. And Jesse Wasaki said that was okay. And while I was doing that job, I got offered the Americorp position, which I took. And I get to do all kinds of cool stuff with our intensive participants. I get to, like Chelsea said, hook them up with benefits. I get to do recovery coaching. I take care of the group schedule. And I love doing it.
You mentioned a term. You said CPRS. For individuals out here listening, they may not know what that is. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but what is a CPRS and what does that all entail?
It's a certified peer recovery specialist. And when you take the class, which McShin put me in because I'm involved with McShin, they gave it to me for free, and a recovery coach training. It is you're a person that teaches newcomers how to navigate recovery. You teach them about pathways to recovery, help them out with resources, shelter, food, getting insurance, everything that people need when they first start to get clean that have nothing, so they don't go back to their to what they know.
Yeah. So a certified peer recovery specialist is essentially a peer in recovery who works with other peers new to recovery. And so the training is a 72-hour Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services. That's Virginia's Behavioral Health Department. The 72-hour training, and then 500 hours, I think, of practical time.
500 hours, and then you can take your Virginia board certification, which Matt did today and passed. I'm still waiting to take mine.
Our freshest and newest certified PRS.
Yeah.
So I'm a PRS, which is to say I took the training. I never did get around to taking that test. I don't know, maybe the anxiety. So
I've been stressed out about it.
Yeah.
You have to have a year clean too.
Yeah.
So while I was volunteering, I hit my year. I got my 500 hours, and then I started the Americorp job, and it was a little overwhelming. Learning how to do an administrative position, working with computers. I can play on my phone, but I'm not tech savvy at all. I had to learn how to, navigate emails and create simple Word documents. And I had some help because everybody here was very helpful. But I was overwhelmed when I first started here. And after, I think, 2 months, I was sitting down one day, I had a breather, and I was like, hey, I got this now. I need to take my CPRS test because there's all kinds of hoops I had to jump through to do that. You have to get your high school diploma sent and then get another packet after all the packets that we had to sign for Americorp. It was a stack of paper. And I finally got the ball rolling. And once I did, it happened very quickly. I think it was, maybe 8 or 9 days. And I had my appointment and I got to pick. And ironically, I picked today because, I'm clean, serene, and not partaking in 420.
Oh, yeah. It is April 20th. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have taken the class. Is that correct, Chelsea?
Yes, I'm also a recovery coach in PRS.
Yeah.
We took the class together, actually.
Okay.
The PRS class.
And so you're accruing the 500 hours and waiting until?
No, I've actually had my 500 hours for a little while. I'm waiting on my high school transcript because, it's got to come in the mail because I went to school in Northern Virginia.
Wait, so I graduated high school. I'm so crazy to admit this. 27 years ago.
Yeah, I'm coming up on
June.
15 years.
I don't even know if my high school exists anymore.
Well, if it doesn't, there's a whole other form you can fill out. I found out.
You found out, huh?
But my school still exists.
For those of you who can't see Chelsea in the studio right now, she is wearing the most amazing purple glasses, and I cannot stop staring. That's my favorite color, period, and my favorite shade of purple, that deep, like aubergine almost.
Well, I picked out the glasses to match my hair, which is normally the dark purple. It's kind of faded a little bit.
Yeah.
Deep purple.
Beet purple?
Deep.
Oh, deep purple.
You like that?
So both of you, I know Matthew used to live in housing. Chelsea used to live in housing too, in Chin housing. So how does that work being both staff and living in our housing, the balance? I've gone through this myself, so I have some idea about that myself, but how does that work for you both?
It's challenging a little bit. I'm a house leader too. I'm the assistant house leader at my house. So I do have my own room, and that helps tremendously. Having some me time is not isolating. It's absolutely necessary for self-care. I need to make sure that I handle my recovery. It's my responsibility, and I need to be able to shut it all off once in a while and just read in my room.
Yeah. How about you, Chelsea? How do you balance being a staff member and living in our housing?
Being in Hilliard House, it's really easy because I'm basically the only person that works daytime. Most of my other housemates work evenings at restaurants and whatnot. But it helped that almost all my housemates went through Chesterfield, either with me or as I was an assistant house leader there last year. So we all had this bond that we had that's been going on for months now. And really, my only friends live in my house.
So Chesterfield is our intensive female
Women's
program house. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Did the chickens come yet? Did they come home to roost?
They didn't come home to roost yet. I know that they're finishing up the chicken coop today.
Okay.
I believe. More video to come on that one.
More video to come. Justin, weren't you out there setting up chickens and goats or something like that? Weren't you the hen house? Wait, is that? Oh, that's not that.
Nope, not
I did
at
not
all.
mean that.
No, that's Chris and Rob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was in charge of looking for goats last year, but they decided to postpone because the winter was coming. So.
Well, the goats are used to being outside for winter. Aren't they?
Yeah.
They're goats. They're outdoor animals.
But our paddocks weren't ready for them at Chesterfield yet because we did have the horses there and we just needed to rearrange a few things and how the layout was.
Well, the horses were gone, weren't they?
They were there when I got there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Wait.
for about 3 months.
Wow. So do you have goats and chickens and horses at New York House?
Duh.
I don't mean the participants.
I wish that we had animals. I have puppy fever really bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the first thing I'm gonna do when I move out into my own place is rescue a pit bull.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Second chance. Like we got a second chance.
I like that. Like we got a second chance. Yeah.
I only believe in rescuing dogs now.
Yeah. I think they rescue us.
They do.
So tell me now, so the leap from, a person in active addiction to a person fresh, new into recovery to living in recovery housing, getting acclimated to a new lifestyle, a new way of living, and then suddenly you have an opportunity to be of like extra service by working for Americorp, which is a federal program, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
So what made that, what was appealing about that to you? Why did you make that decision? And why make that commitment?
For me, because I've only gotten clean in jail. My early recovery was in jail. And I would come out after the first time I was in recovery, I'd done a year on a 15-month bid. I only had to pull a year. I had
85%, right?
I had earned time credits too, so it's kind of nice. It's supposed to be like 13 months. But anyway, I came out and I tried another sober living. It didn't quite work out for me because I thrive on structure. It's very open. I could do whatever I wanted. I just had too much freedom. And right before I got arrested, when I had reoccurrence of use back 2019, my mentor had suggested McShin. I was like, I'm not going to Richmond. It's too far away. In reality, it was the same distance away from my family as it is from down here. I just was being stubborn. But, again, started recovery, full force in a jail program. And I wanted to do something different. I told my lawyer, leave me in here. I don't want to get out on bond because I wasn't at that point.
You told your lawyer to leave you in jail.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
That was that growth from that 16 months that I had in recovery before.
Okay.
Because I knew if I got out, I wasn't in a mental state to be able to handle the streets and not use.
Okay.
So I did 8 more months, asked to be sentenced to the intensive program here. So my sentence has been done for 7 months and I'm still here.
Well, what did you do? So that 8 months that you stayed in jail by choice, essentially.
Yes.
Right. So that 8 months, what did you do in that time? Was there a program offered to you? Was there access to literature meetings?
So at my jail, we had 6 meetings a week that would come in from the outside. And they were all very good friends of mine because I was a meeting junkie when I was out.
Okay.
And still am. But they were the ones bringing the meetings in. My sponsor was bringing a meeting in. So I was I was starting over on my step work, still reading literature. I was also in a CSB program called the Drug Dorm at Prince William County Jail.
A CSB program. What is
Community Services Board.
Okay.
So they specialize in substance use disorders, and also mental health disorders. But it really helped because I'd done it before, but I was only focusing on like surface level traumas. And it didn't really help me get to the root of my issues. But the second time I did it, my drug counselor was like, all right, well, let's dig a little bit deeper. Like, why did you actually have a reoccurrence? And it was that sense of failure and me not getting my way, basically.
And this was actually while you were incarcerated?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So the CSB was actually able to get into and help there. Okay.
Yeah, they had to shut down the program April 26th, my graduation date, because of the COVID last year.
Where were you?
Prince William Manassas Adult Detention Center, Northern Virginia.
Yeah, I know Prince William. Okay. I wasn't aware that CSBs could go in, so that's fascinating stuff. And now, so it's been a little over a year. Or it's been almost a year.
Yeah, it's been almost a year.
Yeah.
That's the longest I've been out of jail in a long time.
Wow. Congratulations. And look at what you're doing right now.
I always had, when I was in and when I was out right before this, I was trying to be an advocate for people coming out of the jail and getting them into the sober living facility I was in before, providing the letters saying that they had been accepted and whatnot. And I just had this want to help other people. You know, I have a huge heart. Sometimes it's unfortunately not useful. Well, not useful, but it hurts me for having a huge heart because people take advantage of it. But then it helps me a lot because I'll do anything and everything to help get you in recovery. Last week, one of the other staff members and I ended up taking somebody to the hospital to get them just one more night, not on the streets, and be like, look, just come back in the morning. We'll come get you in the morning. He didn't want to do it. But we sat there and talked to him for like an hour and he ended up going. So
good. Matthew, your journey, you gave us a little bit, and congratulations again, man, that test. Actually, forget about the journey for a second. Tell us about the test. And this is me personally. I want to know. We
want to know.
How
everything that I did to prepare it was not on the test. It was kind of stressful, and everybody said it was weird. It's more about ethics. It had a lot of situational questions. What you should do in certain situations. If this happens, if your peer does this, what should you do? And the answers would be A, B, C, D, and A and B and C would all be kind of right, and then D would be the right answer. So it wasn't. It was, you couldn't do like process of elimination on all of them. Some of them would get down to 2, and I'd be like, it's got to be C or A, and guess. I'm sure I missed a lot of those.
Well, I think the test is weighted, aren't they? They're not. It's not like you get one. It's not like there's one correct answer. I think there's just one answer that's more right than the others.
Right.
So it was hard to.
You had to read it carefully.
Yeah. I haven't.
I was so happy when it was over.
I'm sure.
Those ethics questions, though, because this is a really good topic, because what I'm hearing from what you brought up, balance and balance for me gets into ethics.
Yes.
Is really, really, because I get phone calls at like 11 o'clock at night sometimes, and it's like, what am I being of service to somebody else by taking the call, or am I putting myself in a position that I can't be of service when I need to be tomorrow, and it's tough for me because, sometimes I'm in bed and I see a message when I wake up to be at 2 a.m. or something. And I'm like, what do I do? And those are
boundaries.
Boundaries. Exactly. So, I hear what you're saying. It's like, I want to do anything and everything that I can, but sometimes the best thing I can do is to step back and say, I'm not the one who can help you today.
I mean, I have my phone set to do not disturb from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay.
So it's scheduled every night from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. A lot of people know they can't get a hold of me. I'm like, you can leave a message, you can text me, whatever, but just know that unless it's a life or death situation, I'm probably not going to respond because that's I need a sleep time.
Yeah. How do you handle boundaries yourself? Especially living, as you do in the housing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of doesn't end when I go home. I do everything I can to help, especially my coachees here. I advocate for them. I make sure they're getting their services. I feel like I go above and beyond to help them get everything that they need for life after the intensive program. Okay. And then I go home and I live with gentlemen that are all trying to better themselves, but none of us are perfect.
Right.
And it can be a challenge. When you get home and you're short-tempered because you've been working with people that might not intentionally, but try your nerves and try to push you and take advantage of you a little bit. And then you get home and these guys aren't supposed to be acting like that, but they are.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just need to time out. I just have to go to my room, say a prayer, close my eyes for 5 minutes, reset, and then go try again. I have to apologize to people regularly. I'm not perfect. I'm clean.
Yeah.
But I do make a point to to have some alone time because it's necessary. I have some hobbies that I love, and usually they just include one or two people, and I'm able to go and find some peace and solace doing that. But I'm in a job where I'm giving back and I'm supposed to be of service, and to do that with a bad attitude wouldn't be fair to anybody.
Yeah.
I love trying to set people up for success. It's so fulfilling, and I usually go home and during the day just have moments of joy for not because anything went great for me today, but what went great for this guy or that guy because I shined a light, on something and they grabbed it.
They had that aha moment.
Yeah, it happens. And lots of the guys, they don't feel like they can be successful if they don't have certain things like a social security card or birth certificate, stuff that you need to get a job. I mean, I have to research all kinds of stuff for people, get compliance summaries for their licenses. Figure out how to get certified copies to send to the Social Security Administration so they can get a new Social Security card. Get them appointments at DMV, get the ball rolling in the right direction in lots of areas of their lives. And I'm learning a lot for me how to navigate the world.
Yeah.
Because I have been tuned out for decades on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many phones I've just thrown out the window of my vehicle riding down the interstate because I'm just sick of it. And it's so freeing. But right now that's not possible. I'm kind of chained to mine because it's, I feel like I have a good network and people that I rely on and rely on me. And that's you need to be able to communicate.
Yeah. I remember when I first got here, and Justin can attest to this, and Joey, I see you watching. Joey probably remembers this too, but I didn't have my prescription glasses were broken. Both legs were broken off of the glasses. So what I would do is I had a pair of reading glasses, and I would take the prescription, I would just put them in, because I have really bad eyesight, but with my using and whatnot, I'd gotten into a fight, but actually both legs broke off with fight, me.
Oh,
fights.
man.
I know. Right. So I wasn't exactly taking care of myself. And like, I literally got so frustrated with trying to figure out how to use my insurance, my Medicaid, to get an eye exam that I really felt like I felt completely helpless, right? I was helpless. I literally could not see the screen. I'm tired and I'm frustrated. I'm angry. And really for me, it was one of our former Americorp representatives, who's now associate director of women's programming here, Carla, really just sat down. And I said, Carla, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Can you look this up for me, please? Because I can't read it. And it was, I'm so grateful that she was there, and I needed that moment of, and Carla, you all know Carla.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just a very calm and compassionate person in recovery, and she just kind of sat there and helped me. I didn't make an appointment. It wasn't like I had to wait a month or something. It was like I came in, she was eating, I think she might've been eating her lunch, and she just helped me, and I was able to get an appointment and get my eyes checked and blah, 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 blah. But like, that was it. So, cause it's so overwhelming. Like, I came in here and I didn't have, I'm sure I had a driver's license, but not like, it wasn't legal, well, I mean, I had my driver's license, but it had been, not expired. What do you call that?
Revoked, suspended.
Revoked. Yeah, I mean, I had a possession conviction. So, my license had been revoked. I probably didn't have. I mean, I probably don't know where my my birth certificate is now anyway. But like, all those things it was daunting. No job, just fresh out of jail. No money in the bank. My family wants very little to do with me, and feeling just so overwhelmed, and having people like you both to be able to sit down with, and someone who knows what I'm doing, so isn't not putting judgment on me, just wants to help. That is so vital, because I think we've both been we all three have probably been in positions where we've had to ask people for help and then felt that weight of the judgment against us. You're an awful person for not being able to do that.
When I first got clean, it was foggy in my head. You can ask some of the guys I was intensive with. We would talk. I would laugh sometimes. They would talk. And when I talked, it's because I had something to say, but the thoughts weren't forming.
Yeah.
Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't contribute a lot to these conversations. And if you got a laugh out of me, my buddy Andrew he loved it. He'd be slapping his knee like, Matt laughed. It was like I was fuzzy. And somebody helped me. I didn't have any insurance. They got me Medicaid. He's the men's director now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Mo helped me too.
And got me some SNAP assistance. And I needed that because I was unemployable when I got out of jail. I had like 2 broken ribs. I had back issues. And then I got offered, to take this CPRS class. And it was like a tunnel opened up and there was a light at the end of it. I couldn't do what I normally do, which is labor jobs or painting. I like painting. Most people hate it. I like it.
Yeah.
But standing on a ladder now is excruciating to me. I got a pinched nerve in my back. And I just, and I saw a way to make a living working with really cool people just like me.
Yeah.
If I was out using, I'd be hanging out with the same type of people and thinking it was fun sometimes. And now I get to hang out with them and help them navigate the world.
Yeah. I remember, I'm pretty confident that I remember the first time I met you.
I remember.
It was at the meeting with
Show
Mo.
Me How to Live.
Yeah. So with Mo.
And you were with Joe P.
And Joe P's watching
Hey,
right now,
Joe P,
which is
what's
the funny
up?
thing, right?
Yeah.
So, Joe P says that my homie's spreading the story of recovery. Love y'all. And then he says, Matt is a freaking miracle. I got to witness that transformation too, he says.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
He got to see the light bulb hit and
Yeah.
my eyes get a twinkle in them because I was a zombie.
Yeah. I remember that meeting. Well, show me how to live.
Show Me How to Live,
Yeah.
5:30. Now they've expanded and they're on Mondays and Fridays at 2101 North Parham. It's still my home group.
Is it still your
I
home?
made coffee there last night.
Nice.
Wait. What days?
Mondays and Fridays.
Oh, Mondays and Fridays.
at
Okay.
5:30.
At
Yeah.
5:30. Is that the same space it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now YPNA meets there too.
On Tuesdays
Oh.
and Fridays.
Yeah. The late show.
The late show.
Yes.
Nathan is also a miracle. Mr. P, you are hands down a giant miracle myself. Yourself. Joe, I love you, man. Good to see you over there. Josh Schmidt says, "You guys are amazing." I'm putting that in there. I miss all of you. Thank y'all for helping pave my path in recovery. Nathan, I miss you, man. Oh, Josh, dude, come. I miss you, man. Come visit. So talk about, so what does it mean? So both of you talked about being involved with the criminal justice system.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my gosh. The last time I got convicted, the judge held up my record. I think it was 3 pages. And he said, Mr. Grant, you're going to die. And he'd already given me my sentence. And I said, we're all going to die.
Did you say that?
I'm such a smart ass.
Did you say that?
He gave me 5 years with 4 years and 8 months suspended for a
Oof.
piece of paraphernalia.
Oof.
But guess what? I just got a probation yesterday.
What?
Congratulations.
Wow.
Hey. I need to make some new goals because I've just hit so many. I'm working in the field of recovery. I just got my CPRS state certification.
You got your
And
driver's license.
I got my driver's license back. I have a vehicle, and I'm really happy for once in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wake up without a ball and chain hooked to my leg. I don't have a 500-day drug habit. I don't compromise my beliefs and my morals for nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the miracle, right, Joe? I say Joe Pelican. So tell me, since you both have this, you've both been justice involved, and whatever that term means, right?
Yes.
You've both been incarcerated. I mean, I have as well. So how did you get involved with Americorp? How on earth does a federal program work like that?
Employ 9-time convicted felons like myself.
Yeah.
6 for me.
6?
It was 3 background checks and 2 sets of fingerprints.
Yes.
It was a 5-month process, I think.
Mhm.
But they did it.
But they did it.
They did it. And they did it while you were still on probation. Are you still on probation?
I'm still on probation
That's
for another 3
amazing.
years.
So they're recognizing the value.
You know, and we do service projects with them too.
Matt and I are actually working together on one this weekend.
It's at the. I'm not sure where it is, but I went to one about a month ago. I met the mayor. I met the superintendent of schools. Some other politicians were there. Some reporters were there. I had to tell my story, a short version. I think it was maybe 7 minutes. And then we helped paint a retaining wall in a park in Churchill.
That's cool.
It was a blast. Met some really cool people. Found out a lot about Americorp. They have a couple initiatives right now where they have gardens, urban gardens.
Yes.
And it's really cool to see, you know, the gentrification up in Churchill, and then all of a sudden a beautiful greenhouse with healthy plants coming out of it right in the middle of the concrete.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And this weekend we'll be building some compost bins.
Yes.
To help kind of lessen the cost for healthy, rich soil for these gardens, and building, I think, a few raised flower bed or gardening beds, which are really neat because, you know, a lot of the soil down here, it's not really soil, it's clay.
Yeah.
So there aren't a lot of nutrients in it. And to be able to build something that creates the soil for it, that helps the vegetables grow, you know, and put in these areas and give, you know, the youth something to work on.
Yeah.
Is amazing.
I total side squirrel note here for me. Side squirrel, right?
Squirrel.
Years ago, some of you know this, but I lived in Florida, and I worked for a botanical garden. And yeah, it was a absolutely incredible experience. And, you know, I worked in the fundraising, I worked in the, you know, development department. I wasn't necessarily out there toiling in the garden every day, which would have been amazing too. I'm just, you know, I wasn't doing that. But we had one of our gardens was called, it was named for somebody down there. So her name was Ms. Bueller, but it was a Bueller enabling. Bueller. It was the enabling garden. And, you know, we think of enabling, I think we probably think in recovery that word is a negative, but this garden was designed with people with different abilities, access for people with different abilities. So you mentioned the raised beds. So the beds are higher, and this was down in Florida where the population is older, right, or tends to maybe have some mobility issues. So the gardens were raised up. They were also because also they thought about sensory experiences. You know, people who might be sight impaired. So, you know, the smells were important. The tactile experience was very important, and also they really had a strong focus on autism at the time. I'm not quite sure how that they fit the garden into that, but creating an experience that was really helpful for individuals with, you know, on the autism spectrum. So
that's really neat.
Yeah. And so that's the first thing I think of when I think of
and it's a food pantry that we're working at this weekend doing all this.
Okay.
So
you work through Feed More?
No, I forget who it's with, but that's who we're doing the compost bins and the raised beds. I think he's going to look up the email. Need me to look it up since I have my glasses?
Well, that's you guys, but so they really get you involved not only in the recovery community but the community at large.
Yes, I mean because Americorp is what is it?
The Fonticello Food Forest.
That's what it is.
It's this Saturday from 9 to 12. Fonticello Food Forest is adding compost bins to recycle the scraps from their weekly food distribution and to build healthy soil at their site. Volunteers will help them construct a 3-bin composting system. We will also be building 4 new raised beds and filling them with soil for their demonstration beds in the garden. So Chelsea, you were right on.
That's all. Yeah,
I have a pretty good memory now that I've stopped.
I know, it's crazy.
My memory's coming back slowly, but my short-term memory is definitely getting a lot better. The longer that I'm in sobriety, the longer that I'm in recovery, you know, I pay more attention to small details because those are the things that help me remember basically the bigger details now in the short term.
I think that's kind of the reason how I got this job. I was volunteering, working the front desk down here in Hatcher Church for McShin. And I could, just from paying attention, you know, I know where people were. You know? Joyce would come down and be like, "Where's Jill?" I'd be like, oh, she's doing group on the 3rd floor,
Mhm.
or where's John? And I just heard him laughing upstairs. I know he's up there
Right.
or yelling.
Or yeah.
Right.
Or
right.
where's
What was he
Jesse? You know,
yelling?
he's in the
Yeah.
bathroom. Relax. Just wait
Yeah.
outside his office. So, you know, I think that it, you know, being sharp came out of the fog right at the right time and was in the right place at the right
Yeah.
time to, you know, get to give back and have a position to help.
Yeah. Well, I think what's so incredible that we talked about, you know, you guys doing the work that's not necessarily in the recovery community. And I love, you know, as outreach guy here at McShin, you know, I like the opportunity to be able to go into the community and discuss what recovery means to me,
Right.
and to introduce other people in recovery and expose people who don't know what that means, you know, to something else.
A chance to
Yeah.
reduce the stigma as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
You know, and that is so vital for us, you know, because I know that the stigma is so paralyzing for a lot of
is.
people. You know?
I mean, my family was very against it. And, you know, I had an opportunity recently to do a YouTube video, an episode of my own, sharing my story.
A McShin episode?
No, through a friend of mine's blog and YouTube channel.
Okay.
He does a lot of sobriety stories. And we
Wow.
were in PRS training together. And he's like, you know, your story really like hit me.
Yeah.
And it's really powerful. You know, it's been up a week and a half and it has over 200 views now.
Oof. Oof.
And I was surprised. I have family members and friends I haven't talked to in years reaching out on Facebook going, you know, I'm sorry you went through that, but it like you overcame a lot.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be able to overcome a lot of things that I've been through in the past 3 years, honestly.
Yeah. It is pretty, it's incredible too, to be able to reconnect and put ourselves out there authentically, and then just sort of, you know, love me or don't.
Yeah,
You know?
really.
Without, you know, that is the struggle for me. You know, I still want to be loved by everybody.
People pleasing.
People pleasing.
People pleasing
That's-
is the worst.
It's one of my character. It's a character defect I work on, frankly.
I had said yes to a lot of things, and we had our staff meeting maybe a month and a half ago. And I opened up and I said, I feel like my plate is full enough. I was so overwhelmed. I just
Right.
gotten Alex Bond was leaving, and I got some of his projects that he does flawlessly with, you know, no problem. And I'm like, oh my God, I can barely turn my computer on. And Honesty just looked at me and she said, no. She said, you can't set any boundaries till you've been here for like 5 years.
Basically.
I said, I'm trying to be responsible and tell y'all that, you know, I'm good. I'm good right now. I just need to
Right.
figure some stuff out. And
She's
then-
kidding though.
Yeah.
Is she?
Kinda.
Well,
Yeah, we got a laugh out of it, but I'm on top of it now.
yeah.
Um,
It is amazing what we well, I won't speak for you, I'll speak for me. And you know, I have some limits in my brain of the things that I think I can do and the things I think, you know, the things I can't do or I think I can't do. And that's very close-minded. My recovery teaches me to be open-minded,
mhm.
but I also have to set boundaries and sort of, so it's all about balance, right? And balance
It
and
is.
boundaries and navigating all that stuff. And kind of the neat thing about working with people in recovery, also one of the pain in the asses about working with people in recovery is that, you know, we can talk to each other about things when it's bothering us, and work with each other usually, you know, when things are not the greatest, because we all have sort of a common goal, you know, to help the
Yeah.
next sick and suffering individual.
Mhm.
So when I can get myself back to that mindset, you know, it gets me into a much better place to be of maximum service to the next person right there, something greater than myself. So
This job helps my recovery so much.
yeah.
I have a tendency to be shy. I'll go to a big meeting and feel weird energy and I'll just shut up. And like my friends used to make fun of me, especially when I was in the fog, because I would just sit there and like
In the
look
fog.
around all creepy.
Like a movie.
Since I started working up here, I got in the herd.
You got him. I
You
like
are
that.
in
I
the
felt
herd.
a part of this thing, the whole Richmond recovery thing. I go somewhere I feel more comfortable, and it all started with getting to know everybody that is involved with this place, which is a lot of people,
There are.
and getting to know the guys that were in the 28-day program and seeing what I had been through in somebody else's life. It's the exact same thing. It's just a different person.
Right.
They have a whole train wreck they're dealing with, and they're withdrawing. And it helps me remember where I came from, because I'll forget or I'll romanticize stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, and I got to remember where I end up. So it helps to keep me grounded. And what do y'all like?
Yeah,
Sorry, my roommate.
Tanya.
I love you too, Tanya.
Squirrel.
Hi.
Oh,
Sparkle?
But the romanticizing part, I'm
Oh,
glad you
geez.
said that. Well, you know, I had this opportunity over the weekend. A friend of mine from high school, whom I hadn't seen in 27 years.
Yeah.
27 years.
wow.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 1994. Yeah.
92, bro.
Yeah, I know you're old. I already know. But so
Damn, I am the baby in this room
well,
right now.
we knew that. I'm the baby.
I'm the baby.
But he came to visit me and on Saturday, and I just dropped him off the train station at 1:30, and he, you know, he's I'm not going to tell his story. Well, we don't know his name, doesn't matter. But he may or may not be one of us. You know, I'm not one of these people who can, you know, I can't tell somebody you are, you know, you need recovery. But I can look at somebody and say, well, drugs and alcohol have certainly caused you to have some consequences. So maybe you want to check that out. So we had an interesting time, you know, we did. And you know, we're both in our mid 40s at this point. You know, it's not like I'm going to go tear it up anymore. You cheesemonger, you. Oh gosh. All right, Tanya. Thank you. Love you.
Stop it, Tanya.
But so we talked a lot about, you know, what's going on, and it just seemed to me like high school was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Talking to him. And then of course, as we're talking, of course, a lot has happened in 27 years for me.
Mhm.
And then we went out, like we spent all day Sunday. We walked all the way around Richmond, you know, Bell's Island and Browns Island, Bell Island, Bell's Island, and Browns Island. Bleh.
Is this the guy that was with you
The
at the
B&Bs.
Dharma?
Yeah,
recovery
yeah,
meeting? Okay,
yeah.
I remember you talking about.
Yeah, my friend. So we did that, and then on yesterday we went up to DC, where I've spent a lot of my adult life. And
Me too.
you know, yeah, so we were walking around DC, and he'd never been to DC. You know, I went to high school in New Jersey, but we went straight to Georgetown. We got there around 1:30. Went straight to Georgetown. I took him to a place, you know, this little tavern, this little cool little pub that has all this history behind it, and it's
I love Georgetown.
I do-
Everything is so neat and
Killer
quaint
cupcakes.
down there.
So I did a lot of my destruction, a lot of my, you know, a lot of the things, and I realized, you know, I knew that I would have sort of not necessarily an adverse reaction, but it's sort of one of
a
those
nostalgic reaction.
nostalgic. Yeah, that's a great word, because it
Thank
was almost slightly romanticized, because I'm sitting in here and I'm thinking, wow, I'm in this historic place. John F. Kennedy was here. You know, he used to sit here all the time, and he proposed to Jackie, and Lyndon Johnson used to work on this over there and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then of course I go upstairs to the restroom, and I'm like, and I used to do this in the bathroom stall and this in the bathroom. And I'm like, geez, man, what am I doing with myself? And I kind of, you know, I'm really grateful, because I kind of anticipated that this would happen, and I have tools in recovery. You know, I mean, that's the great thing. It's like I can't hide from that stuff. And the conversation I was with Pat, y'all know Pat.
Yeah.
Pat and I were talking about this very topic earlier today, and just how much of that came into my brain, more than I thought, really, and how building new associations was really important for me, you know, because this is a cool place to go. You know, Georgetown's great, and walking around in the hit city and stuff.
That's definitely important for a lot of us, because like when I moved down here, I was stationed at Fort Lee, so it's like I had some experience with Richmond area and whatnot. But once I got out, I had gone back into using, gotten out of the Army. You know, I went back into using, and a lot of it was down here, the beginning of it, you know, and all these places that we take the intensive people on day trips, like to Bell's Isle, to Brown's Isle, you know, the only experiences I had before this past year there were using.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to And I'm like, well, I did this there, did this there. I mean, and this isn't a park. And
Yeah.
it's and
Yeah,
it's kind of like,
yeah.
damn. But I have those memories of Georgetown also.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Alexandria. It's right over the bridge from Georgetown. I used to work I've worked in that area my whole life. And there's a lot of places that I want to be able to go back to but feel comfortable. I'm starting to feel comfortable in a lot of the places that are nicer in this area that I want to take family members to so that they can experience like Belle Isle and whatnot, and create those new memories there, and to try to, not necessarily bury the old ones, but just be able to have new positive experiences.
For me, it's kind of like my last use was in Richmond, and I also used where I used to live up in Winchester, near right near West Virginia.
Mhm.
So my daughter still lives up there. Over these last, since I've been clean, 14 and a half months, or give or take a couple of days, I've been desensitized to the places down here that trigger me. But when I go to see her and I pass by people's houses, certain places, I'm not used to seeing them all the time and navigating through them. And I'll go down a rabbit hole quick.
Yeah.
Right.
So that phone,
That
my sponsor
1,000-pound
needs to be
phone.
on speed dial, or I will think of the first one for maybe 20 minutes and get myself all wound up.
Right.
I got to stop it. I got to pump the brakes and remember where it takes me.
Yeah.
Oh, and this weather.
This weather.
The weather change. It's either from cold to nice or nice to cold.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of people out, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've been seeing it, here,
It's
and
a trend. Yeah.
Windows down, music up, halter tops.
Is that a country song?
No.
It should be.
It should be.
Sounds like a country song.
Convertible tops down.
Justin Bognar, you're a virtual recovery rock star. Tanya, it's your YOU''RE. I love you, Tanya. That's why I'm just joking with you. Got her.
I saw a question earlier from Richard Legg.
Oh, Robert
about the
Legg,
CSBs.
About the CSB. So when quite honestly, I wasn't really willing to work with CSB at first. Because one time I got out of jail, they were like, you need to follow up with CSB. When I was having a few mental health crises, my only experience with CSB was them sending me to a psych ward and I having to do, 72-hour psych hold. So at first I didn't really like CSB. I was like, I'm not dealing with you guys. Why would I do this? You've sent me here. You've sent me there. But, once I was in jail for that 12-month stint, 13-month stint, whatever it ended up being, I met people in the CSB that were open to my situation, not necessarily had been through it with the substance use, but, with some family issues and whatnot. They helped tremendously. My drug counselor is an amazing woman.
She's not a person in recovery, though?
No, she's not.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good to hear, though.
So, but when she first became a certified therapist, counselor, whatever you want to call her, I forget her actual, title, she absolutely said she didn't want to work with addicts and she refused to work with women that were addicts.
Oof.
Especially pregnant women.
Oof.
And then she became a female drug counselor. Because after she started talking to them, she realized that, we actually have a lot in common. There's still those underlying traumas, especially from parents, with verbal abuse and physical abuse.
Yeah.
And, there was a story behind the drugs. So and then I took some substance abuse classes there and I was actually the assistant and was teaching a lot of it because I had done this program before while I was incarcerated. So I get out, I have to do this, basically the exact same program all over again. So, and my counselor there was very understanding, very patient. I don't know how the CSBs are down here. I haven't been to one, but this is my experience with Prince William County CSB. I did have a very positive, they did have a lot of influence on where I was going and what I wanted to do.
How long ago was that experience?
So I've been dealing with the Prince William County CSB since 2017,
Okay.
but on my own since 2018,
Okay.
2019.
Okay.
Uh,
They should have. I'd have to look into it, but they should have PRSs, CPRSs there at this point. I would think. Yeah.
Not at Prince William.
Not a pro. Okay.
No, I know that I have noticed some job openings down here in the Richmond area.
Yeah.
The issue is that up there, the recovery community just isn't as big. It's not as strong. I'm coming from an area of Virginia where we have 7 NA meetings a week, one for each day. And down here, there's over 100 meetings a week for just NA, not just AA, or a combination of the two. There's over 100 meetings a week for each of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, plus all the other ones, pathways.
Oh, Honesty says, thank you all for sharing your stories and being leaders in our community. And thank you, Honesty, for the comment, because that's really so incredible what the both of you have done. I stop sometimes and I have to remember just how much of a miracle what it is that we do is. And Joe P mentioned it earlier in the commentary, and he's right. I mean, the fact that what we were doing back in the day and now what we're doing today, it is a miracle. Like we get to do these things today. And excuse me, I'm salivating. But we get to do these things today, and then we get to be recognized not only in our community, but we get to work with a federal government, grant.
Right.
That's incredible. And then go be outreach, talk to other people, and share what recovery means and what it is to you.
Yeah.
And I know that I work a program of attraction rather than promotion. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the 3 of us do, or the 4 of us, I think, Justin too. So, that's kind of, what better way to do that than to just do the next right thing by helping the next person.
Yeah. I mean, one time first time I went to the eye doctor, I was wearing my McShin hoodie. And this lady, we're sitting there waiting for like ever. And she's like, what's the McShin Foundation? I was able to educate an not older, but a lady that wasn't
not
familiar.
older, but
Our
older.
age.
No, older than y'all.
What'd you say?
She was older than you guys. But,
Thanks.
to educate
Justin's
her.
age?
No, older than Justin. She was like in her early 60s. Okay.
Oh.
But educate her about the recovery community. And she's like, I know I've heard that name before, McShin, but she couldn't remember why. But I think I talked her into making a donation that day.
Ooh, I like that. Ding, 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 ding. That one more person gets a bed. So anyway, with that, it's time to talk about landing this plane. Any closing response? No, not crashing the plane, landing it. Sheesh. Yeah, I'm getting choked up. It's time to close this up. But do you want to add anything in closing, Matt? It's really incredible what you've done, getting off probation yesterday, passing your test today, doing the things that you get to do. What else do you want to say to your fans or people out there? Fans.
You got fans.
I told you.
You're worth it.
Yeah.
You're worthy of a life worth living. You're worthy of love. And you have to keep trying. If you don't try, you'll never get what you want.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Same question to you, young lady.
Something I've been coming across a lot recently. If you have a reoccurrence of use, talk about it. Come talk to somebody about it. Or if you know you're about to have a reoccurrence, before it happens, pick up that 1,000-pound phone, because it's actually not that heavy, especially if you're used to it. I mean, yeah.
I heard Justin drop it over there, so
it
didn't sound like 1,000 pounds.
No, it's not. Had I done that, had I picked up the phone, 2 years, a year and a half ago, I would have over 3 years right now. But I am where I am, and I'm where I need to be.
Well, that makes me think of that song. I am what I am. Whatever the words are. Justin, just stop me now. Justin, you want to close us out with anything wise, erudite? Anything?
I
I love
you know,
putting
one of the most important things for me has been being around the right people.
Yeah.
And you know, I have a whole new group of friends now, and it's made all the difference in the world. You know, I don't think about the way that I used to be. All I think about is how I am now and the future. And you know, everything looks really bright right now. Everything looks really, really good. And that wouldn't have happened had I not, you know, come here to the McShin Foundation. So that's it.
I want to give a huge shout out to Justin, because I know that those of you listening or even watching can't see, but if you were to be in this space right now, you would know that he spent a considerable amount of time cleaning up this space. And I don't mean this lightly.
It looks
Great job. It
in
looks
here.
great in here. Yeah.
Well, thanks.
So yeah, seriously, thank you for doing that. I'm sorry I didn't notice it Thursday, but I'm glad we're doing it. I noticed it today. Thank you all for being here, both of you, Matthew and Chelsea, and of course our producer Justin. Thank you very much. All of you out there who commented, listening, if you need some help, if you have any thoughts, you know, you want to just you know, talk about what's going on with your life, you know, if you want to do something different, you know, we can help you with that. And I recommend, you know, giving us a call. Just say, hey, you know, what is this all about? And what is recovery? No more glitter.
Yes, glitter.
No more glitter.
Yes, glitter.
No.
What?
I'm setting boundaries. No more glitter in this space. I love you, honesty, but no more glitter. Anyway, listen, thank you so much for being a part of this show today, and we will see you tomorrow for another edition of Get in the Herd. Dun, dun, dun.
My name is Shannon Lance. I'm currently here in recovery at McShin Foundation. I got out of jail on January 10th, 2021, and while I was incarcerated there, my mother passed away due to COVID complications on December 14th. It was a really challenging event in my life. While I was incarcerated there, I watched the recovery videos and the podcast on the tablets there, you know, that was made by the McShin Foundation. Getting the Herd podcast really made me feel like I was a part of something on the outside, because, you know, there's people that are commenting and just seeing, you know, people that I was incarcerated with on the videos, and just thinking, man, you know, that's going to be me, you know, before too long. And, you know, I'm going to be sitting there in them rooms and, you know, be able to be a part of the podcast and Getting the Herd series. And, you know, now I'm a part of the Herd here at McShin, and it's an amazing feeling, and it's nice having a fulfilled sense of hope in my life currently, and just to live one day at a time, and just to have positive feelings in my life and good relationships with, you know, my family and friends is an amazing event.